Donald Trump was indicted and minds were blown away. I mean, did you see how so many folks in the media reacted to Trump being indicted? They hated his reaction. They literally were furious. Check out how CNN's Jake Tapper handled it.
Any way you look at this, and again, despite whatever may be going on in that restaurant, this case isn't going to be settled legally in a cafe. It's going to be settled in the court based on the facts and law.
The folks in the control room, I don't need to see any more of that. He's trying to turn this in. He's trying to turn it into a spectacle, into a campaign ad. That's enough of that. We've seen it already.
All right, I want to read back what exactly he said there on air. He said, the folks in the control room, I don't need to see any more of that. He's trying to turn this into a spectacle, a campaign ad. That's enough of that. Tapper didn't want you to see what was going on. I mean, what was he so offended by? Because after appearing in court, Trump went to this restaurant called Versailles. It's in Little Havana. You can see, if you actually watched other channels, he was enthusiastically greeted by supporters and diners. They even burst out to singing Happy Birthday. It was a day before his birthday. I mean, you see how offensive that could be, right? People showing support and singing. Cut it out now. Cut that off. There will be none of that at CNN. I mean, can you imagine if viewers saw that? My goodness, how horrible. I mean, you can't actually think for yourself. You can't watch something and analyze it. You can't hear that. Now, that is truly voter suppression. We don't want you to see it. We don't want you to hear it. We'll tell you the news. But then let's go check out the leftists at our very own taxpayer-financed PBS NewsHour. This is what they put on the screen.
PBS over a disclaimer that ran on the screen during former President Trump's speech this week. You saw it if you were watching the statement on public television reading, quote, experts warn that inflammatory rhetoric from elected officials or people in power can prompt individual actors to commit acts of violence, end quote.
Let me read that back to you again. Experts warn that inflammatory rhetoric from elected officials or people in power can prompt individuals to commit acts of violence. It always sounded to me like one of those drug commercials where they tell you the side effects. What the heck are they talking about? Do they know the future? Do they have a crystal ball? I mean, what are they getting, a tarot card reading? They know the dangers ahead? I don't get it. I mean, this is the leading candidate for the Republican nomination who also happens to be leading the sitting president in many polls. This is election interference. This is voter suppression. I mean, forget Russia. It's our own media that's colluding and interfering in elections. And where were they when Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer urged people to go after justices on the Supreme Court because he didn't like a ruling? Where were they during the Trump administration when people like California Congresswoman Maxine Waters urged people to surround, threaten, and intimidate members of the Trump administration who she did not like? What are they afraid of? And in the case of PBS, why are we paying for this? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's shut off CNN and defund PBS. Well, if you enjoyed this video, click the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to make sure that you never miss another video.